Let's introduce you to the two officials for this one. The first referee on the far side from China, Wang Lijun. And she's going to be ably assisted on the near side by Charalampos Papadopoulos from Greece. So alongside me, Charlie Broom, in the commentary box for this one, I have the Olympic gold medalist from Sydney in 2000, Dane Blanton. Dane, introduce us to the four players and tell us what we can expect. What are their strengths?
Well, that young lady right there, the 30-year-old, 196 centimeter Sarah Pavan, may be the most intimidating blocker on tour. Every single time she steps on the court, this player is improving. She is a superstar in indoor volleyball, converted over 4 years ago, a 5th place in the Olympics just last year, and she is on top of her game. So much fun to watch, and she is a killer, very focused. Now, her partner, Melissa Humana-Paredes, 24 years of age, just a youngster at 176 centimeters, but a fantastic defensive player. Her biggest strength is her composure. Very steady, very consistent. If you hit the ball anywhere near her, she's more than likely to get it up in the air and make you pay. Now, to the other side of the net for the German duo. Germany seated second in this tournament, and that's a good look at Julia Sude, 29 years of age, a full-time blocker up at the net and has had a lot of success. This team has struck twice in the major series, winning in Porridge in 2016 and in Stade in 2017. Her partner, Chantal Laboureur, 27 years of age and 179 centimeters. She's a defensive specialist, a very powerful offensive player, a very emotional player, brings the fire every time, trying to elevate her team against Canada. This should be an absolute battle.
It should be, and the Canadian team, well, they are on a high right now. They won 4 from 4 yesterday. We've just seen Schalke and Saxton get rid of the Olympic champions. There you go, 36 degrees, up against the Germany side that are in very good form as well. If you look back at the first knockout round, they beat Fernanda and Barbara, half of which was the defending champion, 16 and 10. What a performance that was, as Laboureur gets us underway in this quarter-final.
Strategy right off the bat for the Canadians. Keep the ball in play. Give yourself as many opportunities as possible for Sarah Pavan to own that airspace up at the net. And that's not how you do it. Serving it into the top of the net right there. We've seen it quite often. Teams come in here. They don't have a lot of time to warm up on center court because the schedule is so tight. So they have to warm up on the warm-up outer court, come in here and get ready, and sometimes it takes a few plays to get adjusted.
Kept alive by Canada, but it's advantage Germany. Sude cuts the score 2-1. These are two very informed sides. They've both won all their matches to this point. Neither side have dropped a set.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible to be this late in the tournament in this quarterfinal action and have teams that haven't dropped a set. So really something has to give right here with both these teams absolutely perfect over the last 8 days.
So Sude at 2-1. Pavan, left-hander, going across the court, opening up.
It's an ideal position to have a left-hander play the right side of the net and the left-sider being right-handed, and so a perfect matchup for the Canadians. And being 6'5" there, she strikes at the net. Sarah Pavan, as I said, possibly the best blocker in the world right now at 6'5", such a dominant starting height and so hard to get around.
Well, she's the tallest player in the women's competition. Of all the 48 teams that started their quest here in Vienna last week, she is the tallest.
Yeah, it's interesting. Even if you're tall, if your blocking technique is not on, you're going to get used all day long. And that's what makes Sarah Pavan so strong, is her technique has improved. And most of all, her mental attitude. She is so focused, and that's why she finally won her first event this year in Porridge.
And they continue to keep their nose in front, Canada. Gets split from her long-term partner, Bansley, didn't she, back end of last year, and it seems to have made a difference.
Yeah, Sarah Pavan was an absolute star at Nebraska, a university in the United States, and a 4-time All-American, so an All-American every single year, and she is huge on the professional circuit, playing professional indoor volleyball. But for Sarah Pavan, she wanted to go to the Olympics and didn't believe that Canada was going to get her there, so she made the switch to beach volleyball, and we're seeing success out of Sarah Pavan. As you mentioned, her longtime partner, she made a phone call to Heather Bansley, and they played for the last few years, a 5th place in 2016, but the relationship kind of soured like it happens in beach volleyball. They both went their separate ways, and now this partnership with Humana-Paredes has proved to be successful.
Goes cross court, Humana-Paredes keeps it alive, as does Laboureur. Pavan gets a hand on it, which allows her partner to keep it up, and this is a hell of a rally. Now, can Humana-Paredes finish? Yes, she can. And that is a second point on serve for Canada. And they lead 6-3 as a result.
Humana-Paredes everywhere. Remember, I told you, very composed player. Never giving up, always giving 100% effort. 2014 Rookie of the Year, Humana-Paredes putting that ball down the line.
Alive again on the Canadian defensive player, but then the spike into the net.
Big opportunity right there by Humana-Paredes to put that ball away and extend the lead. An uncharacteristic error in the top of the net. You can see the frustration. But remember, you always want to have that short memory. Get on to the next play.
Again, they go to Humana-Paredes. Sets a bit close to the net, so she has to improvise, and the advantage now with Germany. Laboureur goes short. Humana-Paredes reads it. That's a better set. And as a result, she has more time and space to make the kill.
Initially here, Canada looking much sharper than the Germans, and the ball seemed to be rolling their way. Nice follow through Humana-Paredes to the open court.
Service error from Pavan. So Humana-Paredes at 8-5. Sude to Laboureur, it's well read by Humana-Paredes. Laboureur with the dig, advantage Canada, or is the set too close to the net? It was. And Pavan with a net fault.
Net violation, that set just a little bit too close. Julia Sude up at the net, and Canada with this 2-point lead, but you can just tell that the Germans starting to gain some traction.
Soon adds up, doesn't it, these little sprints? 500 meters for Humana-Paredes, 400 for Laboureur as the error comes in. So Sude, 8-7, serves to Humana-Paredes. There's some great work going on defensively.
How about that, Canada putting the ball away. You know, Julia Sude has her work cut out for her going up against that 6'5" Pavan at the net, but she has to start registering some blocks if Germany is going to be victorious. Wow, there is a good look at Chantal Laboureur, the 27-year-old, elevating right here, going right around the 6'5" Pavan and acting as if the block not even there. What a sharp hit.
Laboureur again to Humana-Paredes. The roll shot, Sude keeps it alive. No, she doesn't.
It's a smart play right there. Humana-Paredes, whenever you see the blocker drop, you want to attack that blocker because they're still moving. The defender is in a stationary position and more apt to dig the ball. But the blocker might be a little off balance, and that was exactly the case right there with Julia Sude.
Canada. Humana-Paredes with the roll shot that Laboureur reads pretty comfortably. But both pairs having to play the third shot from a long way off the net. This is more like it. Sude with the poke.
And a beautiful poke it is. Call that the rainbow shot or the loopy poke over the blocker, over the defender. You can see Humana-Paredes, all she can do is watch. Too difficult to change directions and get that. There's a great replay of that high poke shot.
So the final point for the technical timeout. And it's service error. So Canada go into the technical timeout leading 12-9 and we'll be pretty happy with the way things have gone at the beginning of this first set.
Both teams really playing well, and this is where you want to be right here at the technical timeout. Still very even. No one has gotten any separation, and as we expected, this is a real battle.
Let's go down into the virtual Red Bull Arena and have a look at the Canadian service placement. And, well, you can see what the tactic is.
Yeah, the tactic is middle and to the right. So Julia Sude getting a lot of action, making sure that they do not go to Laboureur. Laboureur is a powerful athlete, and she has really a big repertoire of shots. Julia Sude strong as well, but for some reason, the Canadians have chosen to go to Julia Sude. They believe that they can get a few extra points that way, and that strategy seems to be working so far with a 3-point edge.
The second meeting between the pair this year. The first one came in Moscow at the 3-star back in June, and the Germans won it in straight sets, 21-10, 21-16, but ever since then, it's been an upward trajectory for Pavan and Humana-Paredes as Pavan gets tall and finds the kill. Since Moscow, they were fourth in The Hague. They won porridge, as we've mentioned, third in Stade and second in Ulster. It's been some run in the last 4 tournaments for the Canadians, and they've brought their best game, it would appear, to Vienna as the shot goes long.
Right now, Germany having some issues, and I think they're going to burn their first timeout. So we just came out of the technical timeout, and Canada putting up some numbers, forcing Germany to think this one over. So you only get one timeout per set. Germany burning it right now to take a little break and try to recover, but Canada looks sharp.
Yeah, it was 9-8 at one stage, and it's now 14-9. So that's a healthy run for Canada. Humana-Paredes has a junior world championship medal. came second at the under-21 Worlds with Victoria Altamare. If you go to the other side of the net, Laboureur is an under-19 world champion in 2008, and Sude, a youth world champion in 2003.
As the players come out after the break, you know, it's so important to keep this ball in if you're Canada, to really keep the streak going.
Well, there's Peter Stöger, the coach of FC Cologne, play in the Bundesliga, which is the top tier of German football or soccer, depending on where you're watching this broadcast. Timeout. That seems to work for Germany as the service error comes in. Now Pavan, and she's not going to get there, and they've suddenly got the scoreboard ticking again.
Got to close the gap, and that's how you do it. Intense, aggressive serving from the back line. Laboureur with a nice jump float. She's trying to go down the middle, and that one floats over to Humana-Paredes.
Yeah, ball set by Pavan. It's funny, isn't it, how a timeout can suddenly swing a game.
Yeah, it's all about momentum in beach volleyball, and it can really turn on a dime. You never know what play is going to happen to turn things around, but in terms of the pendulum of momentum, it has swung to the German side, and that has forced the Canadians to call a timeout now. So both teams burning a timeout, a little back and forth, and you see the emotion of Chantal Laboureur. She knows, finally getting some traction, 3 points in a row.
Listening into what the Canadians have to say, it's not a great deal. It's just about resetting. 2 runs of 3 makes it a 2-point game again.
It's so important that you have chemistry with your partner. You saw the Canadians, their demeanor, very relaxed, very mellow, and it seems like it really works for the two of them. Remember, Sarah Pavan only been playing on the beach for about 4 years, played in 2 world championships already, a 5th, her best finish, and that was in The Hague in 2015.
Again, the set quite close to the net.
There's that platform, call that the bump set rather than using the overhand set, and it ends up being right. Humana-Paredes with a little poke shot of her own.
Sude. Good work from Humana-Paredes to keep that alive. Now a chance for her to find the kill, but Laboureur is there for Germany. But it's still advantage Canada. Pavan gets high.
Right there, that instance is the difference between the 2015 edition of Sarah Pavan and the 2017 edition. She has made so much improvement. A few years ago, she might have shot that ball. Now, anything at the top of the net, high elbow, uses her height and a reach, and she comes aggressive. And at 6'5", hitting the ball that high, if she's aggressive, it is very difficult to stop.
Yeah, 65 kilometers per hour, 40 miles per hour, if that's your preferred speed. Pavan gets some hands to it, and that allows Humana-Paredes to set her up, and this is a commanding performance from Canada right here.
Well, you know, in beach volleyball, you don't have a coach in your box, very similar to tennis, so you have to make your own decisions, and it's proving a timely timeout for the Canadians. Coming out of this timeout, they've got 3 points of their own, so they have completely blown this open.
Well, back to where we started before the Germany timeout, weren't we? So set 2 runs of 3 points, effectively wiping each other out, but that's a good shot from Laboureur. Sude. Pavan sets. Humana-Paredes. Sude gets her hands up high to keep possession, and then makes a mess of her second touch.
Big question going into this, who would drop a set first? Both of these teams absolutely perfect in this World Championship. Neither team going 3.
Well, you'd say it's going to be Germany as Pavan gets tall, but Laboureur is there and a chance for her to win a point that really Germany shouldn't have won.
Seeing a few net violations by Sarah Pavan, and she needs to be careful because Humana-Paredes is in the right spot, maybe being a little too aggressive at the net and just touching it slightly. Remember, no part of the body can ever touch the net or it is an infraction.
Wild serve from Laboureur in 1914. It's the last chance saloon really for the Germans. They need points, they need them quickly. Yeah, good work from Sude. She's going to have to come up with some big serves now. Service is long. That is not what was needed. There are 5 set points coming Canada's way, and Germany in real trouble now. There you can see that. Humana-Paredes. No figures on the jumps. Doing a bit more work. Ball is wide from Sude, and so the first set goes the way of Canada, 21-15. Pick the bones out of that, Dane.
Yeah, Canada just really too sharp, owning the net. Pavan causing so many problems. If she wasn't blocking the ball, she was funneling it to her partner, Humana-Paredes. And it just seemed like Canada was much sharper and ready to go at that opening whistle. A lot of room for improvement, I believe, for Germany to get to the form that we saw just a few weeks ago when they won the major series in Stade. So it's been kind of a challenge here in this first set for them to get into a groove.
You look at their previous results, and they've won pretty much all the sets fairly easily, as we see the stats for the first set. I mean, they were taken to 19 once, otherwise they're winning sets at 17, 14, and 12. I mean, it's been not easy, but they haven't struggled. They haven't been put under pressure until this point.
Yeah, every single round, the pressure begins to mount, and obviously the teams continue to improve. And right now, Germany, they just have to start getting a little more aggressive because the offense of Canada seems so strong.
Pavan grows tall.
Wow. That's what you don't want to happen if you're on the other side of the net from Sarah Pavan. Block and a little stare down through the net to start off this second set. So that momentum we saw at the end for Canada, they have carried it into set number 2.
Laboureur almost celebrates a little early, but in the end, Humana-Paredes can't keep the ball alive.
Pass a little bit close to the net. I'm not sure how Laboureur got under that ball, but it's a winner.
Good block from Sude, but the advantage still with Canada, and Pavan just brings the left arm through, and it's 2-1.
That's the strength of this team. Why not go over on 2? She's got that left arm as the inside arm, her power arm, able to really use that option.
Down, yes it was.
Quickly, it kind of skipped off the sand. Humana-Paredes has really been reading both Julia Sude and Chantal Laboureur almost knowing exactly where they're going to go. As a defender, you want to anticipate, but you want to hold and be disciplined and really read the action and not guess.
Sude straight at Pavan, who deflects it back. The cut shot is fine, and Pavan grows. And, well, I tell you what, they are working in perfect unison right now, the Canadians.
You can just tell the chemistry's there. And they move so well together. There's the dig. It goes right to the top of the net. Julia Sude has to put up a block, but it happens so quick that she doesn't recognize it in the celebration. Sarah Pavan starting to feel it.
So 3-2 Canada. Early stages of the second set. It's long, but it was touched. Hence the despairing dive of Humana-Paredes. Sude with the serve. Once again, Pavan having to do the setting. Humana-Paredes has been fantastic so far. Everything that's being asked of her, not only by Germany, but also by her teammates, she's answering.
Yeah, such a great player. A rookie in 2014, winning the Rookie of the Year, and she has continued to improve every single season for Melissa Humana-Paredes. She really landed herself a superstar in Sarah Pavan as a partner, a perfect complement to the spectacular defense that Humana-Paredes is accustomed to playing.
Again, Pavan gets a touch and it falls to Humana-Paredes. That's happened countless times in this match so far. Ball still alive for Germany. Laboureur gets big. This time it's Pavan who keeps it alive with the dig and then grows tall to finish it. It is extraordinary, isn't it? Most of the time Pavan touches the ball, it lands for her partner to keep it alive.
Yeah, that soft block, that's the thing. It's not all about blocking the ball straight down. If you soft block it and you control it, that's a huge strategy, and being so high at the net, Sarah Pavan has been really effective. Look at her crushing that ball, hits a nice pocket in the sand, bounces straight up, but mechanically, she's so sound, getting everything out of that 6'5" frame. Oh, so close. I don't know how Julia Sude knew that ball was out of bounds. When a jump float served like that, the bottom can just drop out at the last second. It's a big risk to let it go when it's that close. We've seen so many of those plays land in bounds.
Pavan with the set, Humana-Paredes with the cut. 6-4. Side switch. Oh no, I'm getting ahead of myself. 4 more points for that.
Another big improvement from Sarah Pavan's game is that bump setting. You see how accurate she's been with her partner, Humana-Paredes.
Good leave. This is not looking good if you're a German supporter.
But you know, that big block is now becoming an intimidation factor for the Germans. They're trying to go around it. And when you start to try to avoid a block, that's what happens. You start hitting the ball out of bounds.
Oh, it's off the net and out. So 8-4. From 4-3 to 8-4. It's another good run of points for Canada, and enough is enough. Timeout called by Germany as we see that ball land out.
So an early timeout here by Germany, trying to slow things down. You see in the bottom left-hand corner of the graphic, the runs of points. Canada has the last 3 points, and you don't want to give away bunches of points. You can give away a point here or there, but when they start adding up like that, the other team starts to really run away with it.
Just looking at who they played, just maybe let's just listen in.
If you see it, just like do it. I'll move to you. Okay.
Just wondering if who they played has a part in this. If you look at the German opponents in this competition, you've had seed 47, 26, 23, 28, 19. They haven't really come up against the top side, whereas you look at the Canadian side, 42-31, but then 18, the Brazilian pair at 8, the Swiss pair at 10. You know, they've come up against top-seeded sides that are playing well, and they've beaten them all in straight sets. So perhaps they've just had a few tougher matches than the German side, and maybe that just gives them the little edge.
Yeah, that could be the case. Maybe a little more battle-tested, the Canadians, is what you're saying. Playing those top teams early on really forces you to be on point. You get to this point and you're used to it. And maybe Laboureur and Sude, the matches previous, haven't been really that high of seeds. Like you said, 19 being the highest seed that they faced, and maybe just not as sharp.
Pavan, can't make that. But it's a good timeout because they've got the scoreboard ticking now, Germany. 8-4 to 8-6.
Julia Sude and Chantal Laboureur, you just never know when they're going to strike, winning their first event in 2016 in Porridge, and then winning another major. So they've saved their wins for really big tournaments. And right now, Chantal Laboureur is trying to get the crowd involved, trying to get things going. They have not played to their potential. The Canadians have really kept them down so far, and she knows it. She knows that she needs to manufacture some sort of energy, some sort of fire before this thing is over.
Sude continues to serve. Humana-Paredes will receive as she has throughout this match. Good read from Laboureur. Now, can she finish? Pavan's there with the block. And that psychological barrier of getting to parity is just missed out on for Germany.
Right when you think you're going to close the gap and tie things up, great defensive play. It's Sarah Pavan still at the net. A big obstacle to get around.
Off Pavan, Humana-Paredes keeps it alive. Pavan can just help it over the net, so it's still advantage Germany. Sude down the line. Humana-Paredes read that like a book. Now can she finish? You bet she can.
So good, that unison, that chemistry between Canada just really seems to be on point. The soft blocks and the controls in the backcourt by Humana-Paredes, and then she has that ability to flip on that offensive switch and get that ball to the sand. 3-point lead.
The adrenaline coursing through the veins, sends the ball long. You saw just there on that previous stat 3 successful blocks, but what that doesn't take into account is all those soft blocks we've been talking about that go to Humana-Paredes, who sets it up for that and put away a winner.
That's not only the soft blocks, it's those hits trying to avoid the block that they go out of bounds. They don't make the stat sheet. So I completely agree with you that Sarah Pavan is really making the Germans alter their game, and they're having all sorts of problems with it.
Pavan there again. Sets up her teammate who cuts it to 12-8.
Sarah Pavan, quite the athlete. A 4-time All-American at the University of Nebraska, had an illustrious professional indoor career. Now a superstar on the beach.
Now, what does she do here? Just paddles it back over. So Sude will set for Laboureur to try and finish. She's there again. She is having an absolute blinder once more.
She's playing so smart. That's what has improved so much. She free balls it underhand over the net, so she gives herself another opportunity to block because that's her biggest strength. And what happens? She stuffs it right back into the middle of the court of Germany. And it's just smart technical volleyball by Canada right now that is dominating the Germans. But the big difference maker has been Pavan at the net, opening up all sorts of opportunities for Humana-Paredes in the backcourt. And the score really starting to get out of hand if you're Germany. And you hear Sarah Pavan, we are not going to let up, telling her partner Humana-Paredes, let's continue, let's shift to another gear, let's get more separation. A lot of players, when they get a 5-point lead, they'd be kind of,
let's keep it at this.
You know, yeah, resting on their laurels, relaxed, a little complacent. Not Sarah Pavan and Humana-Paredes. They know that they're in a great position here to possibly win a world championship for Canada. And wow, wouldn't that be something special?
It certainly would be. They're in the bottom half of the draw. They'll play the winners of the Wickerson-Bansley Ross Fendrick match, which is taking place at the moment on one of the outside courts. So they don't have any more Brazilians left in their part of the draw.
It's always a good indicator if the Brazilians are out of your bracket. It's a little clearer path. We all know how deep the Brazilians are. So many fantastic teams. And now a 13-9 lead for Canada. Perfect volleyball conditions. That ball out of bounds. It's been hot all week long. Today, no different. About 35 degrees Celsius and a slight breeze. If there was a good side, bad side, it would be the German side being the good side. They have a little wind in their face. The wind at the back of the Canadians right now.
That's a change, isn't it, from conditions at the start of the week. It was blowing from left to right today, right to left. Laboureur going down the line.
Yeah, it's been a little bit, we call it a swirling wind. Usually in the stadium, the wind will swirl around, which means it's hard to read. It can kind of go back and forth. And today, pretty consistent. But on outer courts, it can be really challenging because you're not protected at all. But on center court, with this huge 10,000-seat Red Bull arena, it's a little more forgiving.
So a little run of points for Germany. Last time they went on a little run, they got close, and then Canada pulled away again. Laboureur sticks out a left arm to get the ball back over the net. Pavan will have another go. Goes cross-court off the Sude block, and it's 15-11.
Don't want to give Sarah Pavan multiple opportunities because the percentage is definitely in her favor. She goes high. That's using that height right there, being able to go high off the top of the block of Julia Sude. That's some solid offense by the Germans. And you can hear Chantal Laboureur celebrate, fist up in the air as she turns to the crowd, and they get the kill. She knows the time is running out right now. You have to bring the fire and definitely start to play with more aggression and a sense of urgency. Here's another opportunity for Germany.
Cross court. Back to within 2.
It all starts with the drop off the net. Julia Sude, she gets into position nicely. Beautiful set by Laboureur, and look at the fire, the emotion and the passion coming from Laboureur, knowing that her world championship life is on the line right here after a perfect run, never losing a set up until this point. Now the Germans find themselves up against it, here against a very strong Canadian duo.
So timeout called
Okay, I got a pass here.
by Canada.
Better set, no 86 here.
Well, the winners of this will play Ross and Fendrick, because Ross and Fendrick have beaten Wilkerson and Bansley 2-0. So that will be here on Centre Court, the Red Bull Arena, a little later on today. Ross and Fendrick against the winner of this, the second of the semi-finals. The other one, is a mouthwaterer. Larissa and Talita against Ludwig and Volkenhorst.
Well, this thing really turning out. I thought coming in, the hottest teams would have been Larissa and Talita, favored to win. My second pick was this Canadian duo, and it's starting to turn out. I was actually anticipating possibly Bansley and Wilkerson winning and going on to play Canada. Wow, would that have been a grudge match between the ex-partners, Sarah Pavan and Heather Bansley, but not going to happen. The Americans, April Ross and Lauren Fendrick, as you mentioned, Charlie, moving on, and that's the United States' last hope to get into the medal rounds.
Sude off the block of Bansley. Once again, Humana-Paredes is there to pick up the pieces. But Germany have the advantage, or is the set too close to the net? Pavan, Humana-Paredes gets it over the net, but it's still advantage Germany. And a little poke shot from Sude drops into unguarded sand.
Good turn and burn by Sarah Pavan to keep it in play, but Julia Sude, we've seen the deep rainbow poke. This time, the little short poke as the Canadians are on their heels. Humana-Paredes trying to change direction, and she just can't get her footing and get any explosion to get to the ball. All she can do is watch, but Canada still with that 2-point edge.
The set is close to the net, and it's off Sude.
Sude just a little bit late getting into position. And you have to alter the way you block when it's Sarah Pavan, because the angle that the ball is being contacted and it is at such a high point.
And she's there again. It all came from the service reception that was too strong from Sude. Laboureur was dashing towards the net. She had to put the brakes on before she hit it. And Pavan able to make another block, and a 4-point lead at this stage, as it was in the first set, 18-14. Germany in desperate need of points. That is wide, and that you feel probably is the last chance for Germany. Gone.
Yeah, they're running out of time now, and the way Canada's playing, I mean, they're not going to give away any points, and so they've built a nice cushion. Canada just routine from here, and that's an ace. Julia Sude takes her eye off the ball for a moment, and you know, this German team usually very consistent. I'm surprised at the way they came out here.
Well, 6 match points now for Bansley and Humana-Paredes. 6 points for a place in the semi-final against Ross and Fendrick. Humana-Paredes, in all the excitement, just gets a little bit pumped up and sends it long.
Yeah, when Germany looks at the tape, they'll be a bit surprised. They just weren't able to execute. You give a lot of credit to Canada, but Germany just couldn't get traction. And you know what, that happens when you have such a great tournament going on. All of a sudden, things can go sour quickly.
Humana-Paredes receives. Is it for the last time? Here she goes up. Good block from Sude. This could be a second set point saved. It is.
Well, 1 point at a time. Not very probable, but it is possible. Here's a nice away from body, wrist away shot by Chantal Laboureur.
So Sude looking to save a third match point. Goes to Pavan this time. Pavan to finish it off. Sude with the block. She gets there. Pavan once more. Can she finish it the second time? The set's a little closer to net, but she gets enough on it to come off the Sude block. And Canada book their place in the semi-final up against the American duo of Ross and Fendrick with a straight sets win, 21-15, 21-16. And well, we might be a little bit surprised about the score, but make no mistake about it, the Canadians World Tour ranking of 2 this year. No surprise on that stat to see them in the semi-final. An excellent performance, Dane, and they, well, have got every chance, but it is really now the business end of this tournament.
And they still keep that perfect record. Canada has not dropped a set this entire tournament, and this last play right here really was the way Germany played the entire time. Here's an opportunity. Sude gets it, and here's the opportunity to put the ball to the ground, but Sarah Pavan is there. And then she's able to cut that cross court, and that's the way it was for Germany all afternoon long. They had opportunities, they couldn't execute, couldn't get the ball to the sand, and they just weren't able to play the volleyball that they're accustomed to playing. But nonetheless, a great tournament for the Germans. It will be a 5th place finish, and you know that's nothing to hang your head on.
So delight for Sarah Pavan. Let's have a look at confirm that score then. Sarah Pavan, Melissa Humana-Paredes through to the semi-finals of the 2017 FIVB Beach Volleyball World Championships, 21-15, 21-16.
The match statistics, 5 blocks to 0. Remember, that was a huge factor, and there's nothing that Germany really could have done about it today.
So there is confirmation of the semi-final lineup, Canada against the United States of America. But let's get down onto the sand with Julius Brink, because he's got the victorious Canadian pair with him.